Everyone thinks they know the Witcher. A gruff monster hunter, a lost princess, and a sorceress who bends chaos to her will. But hidden underneath the sword fights, the love stories, and the political schemes is a prophecy most people have never heard. A prophecy that says the world will end in ice, and that the blood of one child will decide who survives. Season 4 of The Witcher left most people talking about the obvious stuff, the casting change, the big battles, the betrayals. But if you look closer, there are tiny details buried in dialogue and camera work that reveal where the entire saga is headed. And that story is far darker and more complicated than anyone expected. Today, we're diving deep into the clues Season 4 planted, the secrets behind the name Falka, and what it all means for the final chapter. This isn't a recap, it's the prophecy unfolding. The law of surprise and the trap of destiny. From the very first episode of this entire universe, destiny has been a curse. Geralt of Rivia didn't ask to be a hero. He didn't even ask to be a witcher. Everything about his life was decided for him, a mutation forced upon him as a child, a job that left him hated by the world he saves. And when he tried to walk away from it all, destiny tricked him again. The law of surprise, that strange ancient custom, is more than just a plot device. It's the universe's way of creating chains. One man saves another, and in return, the world demands something he doesn't yet have: a child, a legacy, a life. When Geralt claimed the law of surprise from Duny, he didn't know it would bind him to Ciri forever. He didn't know destiny had already chosen his path. The thing about destiny in The Witcher is that it's never fair. It takes what you love, offers it back twisted, and asks if you'll still fight for it. Every monster Geralt slays, every coin he earns, every friend he buries, it all traces back to that one deal. The deal that gave him a daughter he never asked for, and a future he can't escape. The Broken Trio. By the end of Season 4, the family that destiny forced together is shattered. Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri, three people bound by love and choice, now walk separate roads. Geralt, still healing from his wounds after Thanedd, is quieter now. Liam Hemsworth's Geralt feels different, not weaker, but older, more reflective. It's like he's finally realizing that being neutral doesn't mean being heartless. He's tired of pretending he doesn't care who wins the war, because when the people he loves are the ones being hunted, neutrality is just cowardice with better PR. Yennefer, meanwhile, is rebuilding Aretuza. She's trying to fix the world she helped break, but even her strength feels fragile now. The way she looks at the shattered brotherhood, the hesitation in her voice, it's guilt wrapped in pride. She's always been power-hungry, but Season 4 shows a different hunger, the need for redemption. And then there's Ciri, the girl everyone wants, the girl who can't stay anywhere for long. When she takes the name Falka, most people saw it as her going undercover. But it's more than that. It's foreshadowing. In the books, Falka is a symbol of rebellion and blood. A princess who slaughtered her own family, was burned alive, and cursed her descendants with vengeance. By calling herself Falka, Ciri is telling us, and herself, that she's done being prey. She's done being the girl everyone wants to control. She's ready to be the fire. The power in her veins, the truth of elder blood. Ciri's elder blood isn't just a genetic quirk. It's a ticking bomb built into the fabric of reality. Long before Witchers existed, the world went through the conjunction of the spheres, a cosmic collision that merged multiple dimensions. Monsters, humans, and magic all spilled into one plane. And somewhere in that chaos, a mage named Lara Doran fell in love with an elf, and their union created a bloodline that could open the doors between worlds. That bloodline runs through Ciri. And that's why everyone wants her. Kings, sorcerers, elves, even destiny itself. She's the only living key to the multiverse. If she learns to control her power, she could travel between worlds, heal the conjunction, maybe even end the cycle of war. But if she loses control, she could end everything. Season 4 quietly hinted at this with symbols. The blue-tinged dream sequences, the repeated imagery of frost, the whispering voices that sound like echoes through time. Those aren't random aesthetics. They're visual foreshadowing of the white frost. In the books, and in The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, the white frost is not just cold weather, it's entropy. It's the death of worlds, a creeping nothingness that consumes entire realities until silence remains. And Ciri, with elder blood coursing through her, stands at the center of it all. The line from the books says it best: "The blood of the elder shall open doors." The question is, will she open them to save us or to escape us? The web of betrayal. The political heart of Season 4 beats with betrayal. Tessia's death, the Brotherhood's collapse, and Vilgefort's grand reveal. These aren't just plot twists, they're the symptoms of a world devouring itself. Vilgefort is one of the most fascinating villains in the Witcher universe because he doesn't see himself as one. To him, the chaos of magic isn't a gift, it's a disease. He wants control, order, predictability. And the only way to achieve that is to control the source of chaos itself, Ciri. He believes that if he can harness her power, he can master the spheres and reshape reality. It's the classic Witcher tragedy. A man who thinks he's saving the world ends up dooming it. And while the show keeps much of his plan mysterious, the clues are there. The mirror imagery, the chess metaphors, the recurring talk of evolution and survival. Vilgefort doesn't want power for its own sake. He wants to outlive destiny. And that's why he's dangerous. Because he's fighting the same enemy as Geralt and Yennefer, but he's willing to become a monster to win. The entire war between Nilfgaard and the Northern Kingdoms is just noise around that central duel. Those who obey destiny and those who try to kill it. The Fellowship of Fire. Every story about a lone hero eventually becomes a story about found family. Season 4 ends with Geralt gathering companions again, a priest, a healer, a rogue, and eventually a vampire named Regis. In the books, Regis isn't just comic relief. He's a mirror of what Geralt could be if he ever stopped running from who he is, a monster who learned to be more human than most men. Milva, the archer, becomes Geralt's conscience. Cahir, The Nilfgaardian knight who once hunted Ciri becomes his test of forgiveness. Together, they form something that shouldn't exist in a world this broken. A fellowship built on choice, not fate. And that's the irony. Geralt, the man who always refused to believe in destiny, finally starts building his own. Not because prophecy told him to, but because love did. They call it baptism of fire, and it fits. Every friend he gains burns away the last piece of the old Geralt, the one who thought neutrality was noble. The man emerging from the ashes is someone else entirely. A father, a believer, a man who knows exactly what he's willing to die for.
The coming of the White Frost. Every myth in the continent ends the same way, in frost, and all of them point toward one moment, the White Frost swallowing the world. We saw glimpses of it already in Ciri's visions, frozen wastelands, echoes of another world, whispers that sound like her own voice speaking from the future. That's the show hinting at something bigger than war or politics. It's the apocalypse dressed as weather. In the books, the White Frost is both literal and symbolic. It's climate collapse. It's the end of magic. It's the death of time. It's everything that happens when civilization pushes too far and the universe hits reset. And only Ciri, with her elder blood, can stop it by leaving this world behind. In The Witcher 3, we see one version of that ending. Ciri either sacrifices herself to stop the frost or escapes into another world to live freely. Netflix might combine both, because Season 4 already showed us the signs. The child who becomes a weapon, the mage who plays God, the father who refuses to let go. The frost is coming, not as punishment, but as balance. The continent has fed on blood and chaos for too long. Now, the world wants silence. How it could end. I see three paths for how Netflix might end the story, each true to a different version of The Witcher. The first is the book-faithful ending. Ciri disappears into another world, becoming a legend. The continent forgets her, but myths about the Lady of the Lake live on. It's poetic, ambiguous, and faithful to Sapkowski's vision. Destiny fulfilled, but in the quietest way. The second is the heroic closure ending. Geralt sacrifices himself to stop the frost. Maybe he trades his life for his mutation to seal the spheres and protect Ciri. It gives the series a cinematic goodbye. Bittersweet, tragic, but complete. Geralt's neutrality dies with him, and the world he saved never even knows his name. The third, and maybe boldest, is the Falka prophecy ending. Ciri loses control. She becomes the frost itself, the bringer of the apocalypse she was meant to prevent. A full circle of destiny. The hunted girl becomes the very thing everyone feared. And in that paradox, destiny finally wins. Each of these endings says something different about what The Witcher means. One says we can escape our fate. One says we can redeem it. And one says we are doomed to repeat it. No matter which one Netflix chooses, the through line remains the same. Destiny demands payment. Epilogue. What it all means. When I look back across 4 seasons, the story that started with a monster hunter has become something much more human. It's about the cost of love in a world built on bargains. Geralt tried to keep his distance, Yennefer tried to control everything, and Ciri tried to belong somewhere. But destiny doesn't care about what we want, only what we owe. That's the beauty and cruelty of the Witcher universe. No one gets away clean, not even the hero. Maybe that's why the story resonates so much. Because deep down, we all want to believe we can outsmart fate. We all want to believe we can choose who we become. But sooner or later, destiny knocks, and it always wants something back. Season 5 will be the end of this journey, but it won't be the end of the idea. The idea that choice matters, even when it doesn't change the outcome. That love, even when doomed, is still worth fighting for. And that sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't slaying monsters, it's facing the truth about yourself. Geralt taught us that monsters aren't what you think. Yennefer taught us that power comes with a price. And Ciri, she's about to teach us that destiny always collects. Destiny demands payment.